Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with another process video for you guys. We are kicking off the month with the newest release from Creative Retreat Kits. This is Anchor of Hope, and just like past months, we're going to do the same thing this month. I know you guys have been kind of enjoying this. I'm going to kick off the month by creating in my growth book. I like to do this as a way to have a place for all of my reflection questions in one place. That way I can answer them, and it just kind of helps me work through the kit rather than trying to answer these questions on Bible journaling entries. You definitely can do that. But I have gotten some feedback from you guys that you really enjoy seeing how I use these kits in ways outside of my Bible as well. So I'm using a growth book. I will link it down below, but you could just use, really any kind of journal to do this process with the reflection questions. And then it just keeps it all in one place. So I am going to be using the Faith Art box, which has the tile stickers and the shape stickers. I have an unboxing on my channel. I'll link that down below. So I'm going to use a few elements from the actual kit, but I'm also going to be using the printable add-on set as well. And I've already kind of dug into this and cut it apart. One of the things I like to do is some die cutting. And so this is a great way to get some additional elements, shapes, letters, things like that. So there are letter stickers in the kit, these little tile alphas. I will be using this in the layout, but they weren't quite big enough for the title. So I did some die cutting ahead of time before I turned on the camera. I used this embossed alphabet die. This one's kind of nice because all the letters are on one plate, so you're not having to, kind of sift through it. And so I just took the pattern swatches from the printables and cut down little rectangles and just laid them over the letters that I needed and cut them out ahead of time. So that is one way that I use the printables. And then I've cut out some various words. There were these circle shapes. I used a circle punch. I'm going to use these to mark off each one of the questions. We're going to use the stencil. And then I've also done some die cutting off camera using these floral dies. Now, these are something that I had in my stash, and when it comes to dies can be a little bit pricey, and so I try to only purchase things that I know that I'm going to use over and over and over again. And so these florals are one of those. One of the nice thing about these is that they are a layering die, but all the layers are on one die. So all the pieces of the flower are on one piece, kind of how this die is. And so what I did is I just grabbed some solid colored cardstocks. I'll link the ones that I used down below. I just grabbed some colors that match the kit this month. And then rather than doing, multiple colors, so like this flower is a light yellow and a dark yellow. So rather than having multiple papers, I just cut it out of the lightest yellow and then used some markers to add color. So that way I wasn't having to die cut, a ton of things out of a ton of papers. And it was just a little bit easier to assemble that way. So I just grabbed some colors that coordinated with the kit, went in and added those darker embellishments, and then I went ahead and pieced these together ahead of time. That way the video would be a little bit quicker. So that will just be some additional embellishment. I try to keep things very simple in this journal, and I try not to go too over the top because the focus is on answering the questions and going through the studies. So we are going to be doing a little bit of ink smooshing with the Creative Retreat inks, and so I'll show you how you can do that as a background element, and that's really going to be it. So let me go ahead and put you guys on fast forward, and we'll put together this layout for my reflection questions. Okay, so we're going to start with the ink smooshing. This is probably the quickest, easiest way to get some interest and color on the background of a page. You can do this technique in your Bible as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just smooshing some of the ink pad onto a piece of plastic packaging. You can use a sandwich baggie, your stamp plastic, like trash, anything will work for this. And then I spray it pretty liberally with water to get the ink moving. And then I do like to go in with a paintbrush just to kind of break up any of the straight, harsh lines. That way it doesn't transfer to my page. And then I just kind of like rock and roll the plastic onto the back of my page. Or on the page. I do like to spray the page down with some water as well. That just kind of helps things blend and move. But other than that, this is pretty quick and easy. And you can see you can do this with any inks, really. These are the pigment inks from Creative Retreat. I used Powder Puff Blue, Pistachio, and Planetarium. And I'm trying to keep the color kind of darker towards the bottom corners and then letting it kind of fade up to the rest of the page. And then I'm going to use a little bit of that planetarium to kind of sprinkle some splatters onto the page. Now, this particular journal is not meant for like watercolor and stuff, but you can see on the back I didn't have any bleed through. I had a little bit of shadowing with the darker blue color, but nothing too horrible. So it did hold up to this process. So you can do the same thing in your Bible. Made sure that was good and dry, and then now we're going in with the stencil. I am again using that planetarium blue color, and I'm using a stencil brush from Tim Holtz or Distress Brush. I'm not sure what these are called. I'll link them down below. I typically use a makeup brush or a dome blending tool. This tool is new to me, and it did a good job of really getting that color nice and saturated, and you can see nothing bled through. So you can use whatever tool works best for you. For that one, I just wipe it off on a baby wipe, and it's good to go. So I made sure to heat set that ink so that I'm not smearing it while I lay out the rest of my embellishments. And again, remember, I'm wanting to answer the question, so I'm trying to keep things pretty minimal and leave myself plenty of room for journaling. So I'm trying to just create 2 large clusters down here at the bottom, but again, leaving myself plenty of room. So I'm just kind of staging these florals. Again, I did do these off camera, so they've already been glued and assembled and colored in. I color in all of the elements before gluing it together. That just works a little bit better for me. But I really only used a light yellow, a light blue, and a light green paper to create these. And then again, I just use those markers to go in and add the darker colors to these different embellishments. And so you can see you can arrange them how they're arranged on the front of the packaging of the dies, or you could sit down and just cut a whole bunch of these out ahead of time in colors to coordinate with the different kits that you're working with, and then just have them on hand ready to go when you want to create something. So you don't have to sit and create them, one at a time. Each time you go to create a page, you could just do a whole bunch all at once. So now that I've got everything kind of staged where I want it, I can go ahead and glue things down. Now, this was a little bit more time consuming than I typically do in this journal, but I went for it. It was a lot of fun. I love these florals. I try to use them any opportunity that I can. And again, they're great because you can just pair them with any solid colored cardstocks, or you could even try cutting them out of the pattern swatches that come on the printables. That would be kind of fun as well. So then I laid out those circles. Again, those are going to indicate each reflection question, and I'm just cutting the questions directly out of the devotional. If I was doing this in my Bible, I probably would retype them out or do something with stickers or, something fancy. But in this journal, I try to keep it very simple. So I'm just cutting them directly out of my devotional. And then I try to kind of match up the circles with kind of the theme of the questions. Like the first one, what is the purpose of an anchor? And so that one has a little anchor on the icon. How does the finished work of Jesus give you an anchor of hope? So that one has the Jesus circle, and so on and so forth. So that was just kind of a design element that I tried to keep in mind when I put this together. And then at this point now, it's just kind of sprinkling color, making sure I have an even saturation of each color throughout the layout. So here I'm bringing in those tile alphas. I don't necessarily have to number these questions because it's just I'm just answering them, but it's just another way to bring in some color and some interest. So I'm going in and using those different tile alphas to spell out the numbers and just trying to balance out the color a little bit. I love that we now get 2 sheets of alpha stickers. If you've been with Creative Retreat for a while, when they first started, you only got 1 sheet of alphas, but now that they are producing the stickers here in the US, you get 2 sheets. So you get extra fun there. And then in the top right-hand corner, I used a combination of the stickers and the printables to spell out the title of the kit. I like to do that in this journal. That way, if I'm flipping back through, I know which kit this layout went with if I wanted to revisit the devotional content. Now, I usually add double-sided adhesive to papers before I die cut alphas, but I didn't do that this time, and I regretted that because it's much more time-consuming to use the liquid adhesive, and individually place them down. But that's okay. We get it done. And so there's just kind of my second title up there. I do that, again, for my own reference so that I know that these are the reflection questions from this devotional. And it's just another fun way to bring in color to the layout. Pulled out the stamp set and that word hope. It doesn't quite fit on that printable banner, but enough of it fits that you know what it says. And I just wanted to kind of add a little bit more embellishment to this floral cluster in the bottom corner. I stamped that with the planetarium blue ink. And that is it. Super simple. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box below the video. Everything will be linked there, as well as the other videos that I referenced if you have any questions. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.